You're listening to Sonny's Monday Motivation here on loudmouthradio.com. What's up, everybody? It's Sonny, your host, and it is another Sonny's Monday Motivation Day. And it also just happens to be October 10th, which is my birthday. Yes, I am a 10/10 Libra baby, right? And for those who are listening right now, thank you for taking the time to hear what I got to say, right? So I want to kind of touch on a few things today, and I'm going to sustain the momentum of trying to be within a certain amount of time. I want to make these quick reflection conversations. I'm working very diligently about getting my message out and getting it across within a good time frame and not having to be more than it needs to be in order to get my point across. So you guys are helping me with that. So, I try to keep that 10 to 15 minute time frame. And today being 10/10, I'm going to work my best to kind of work within that time frame, within 20 minutes or less, right? 10 and 10 is 20, so here we go. I want to start off talking about an ebook that I released, which is called The Power of Relationship Marketing: How Empowering Yourself Leads to Inspiring Others and Eventually Influencing the World. And I wrote this book because I wanted to reflect on just some of my own experiences. And I wanted to touch on what I call my little core values, my 3 talking points of empowering, inspiring, and influential aspects of my person, and how those things for myself lead to helping others. That's what that all boils down to. And it's so important that I think it's really the unspoken aspect of what life is about, is that, we come in this body with the ambitions to grow. We grow physically, we grow emotionally, we grow mentally, we grow psychologically, we grow in every aspect. And it's important that we understand that we're here to grow. And along that path of growth, we discover things about ourselves, we discover things about other people. But most importantly, it's important that we stay grounded enough to recognize that the more that we strengthen ourselves, empower ourselves, it gives so much more presence beyond ourselves. It not only encourages us, but we encourage other people by the way we move, talk, and treat others, right? Things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis, like what are we leaving behind? So for me, when I titled, that actual book, and just started sharing some small memory, some small moments and memories of my own engagement and interaction through the world. And I think, if we all could be just more intentional about doing things that we know will help us and inspire someone along the way, that we are change makers, that we are making a difference in the world, right? So you got to say, okay, Sonny, well, I haven't read this book. How can you find it? It is actually, I have a website you can go to, which is Sonny, which is spelled SONNY. Sonny means business, MEANS, business, BUSINESS.com. Sonny means business.com. And then if you're also one that loves to have your archives and you're active and advocate of ebooks, platforms like Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, you also can find it there. It is there, available, Apple Books, anywhere where you get your ebooks. But the cool thing is, at least if you come my direction directly to my site, I do have an opportunity to have more engagement with you beyond just you making the initial purchase. I want to say another thing that's just resting on my heart today, that as we're going towards the last part of the quarter of the year, I remember as a kid, it felt like 2 years before my birthday would come up. Now, as we're getting into these older ages, I swear it feels like every 6 months my birthday is coming back around so fast. And for that reason, I think it's just, for most people, as we're starting to age, we'll start paying attention to stuff like that. And, it's like, what does that mean? For the most part, I think that there's a level of intention of making sure that you're making the most out of the time that you have. That's what I feel is is probably the most indicative, is that as we're feeling that time spinning around, I've always used to be this person of reflection. I would take a time period in a certain time of the year and try to set my goals or things that I wanted for myself for the year, and then I would come back to visit it at that time period from that year, from that point of placing those thoughts or goals or objectives. And when I would do that, it usually would give me a good measurement of where I've come from month to month, from week to week, from day to day. And it would be insightful to see what that looked like. And if I was really focused on what I said I wanted to do. Sometimes we'll say things and we'll kind of put it out there, but really and truly, do we stick to it? And I think like any other person, there's some stuff that you hold on to, and then maybe along the way you figure out some things you don't want to continue doing, so they may fall back. But that does not mean that they aren't important to you. I think that the biggest thing is taking action. Inspiration, empowering, influence, all those words sound great. But at the end of it is, what action are we taking to get closer to any of those objectives that we're setting for ourselves? So I want to encourage you to, continue to make firm decisions on what's important to you. Because I promise you, what may have been important to me when I was in my 20s is not the same that I felt in my 30s, and now I'm in my 40s. It's just a different outlook, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, we're writing our own chapters and creating our own stories and defining our own books of our journeys of our life. So if we are to become everything that we dreamed of or far greater, we have to take action, right? So like today, I wanted to take action on this and make sure I got this up and got this out early. I'm really at a point of really working towards execution and seeing things that are, coming into fruition. And so when I tell you guys, I'm not speaking to you just to speak at you. A lot of times I'm practicing, initiating a lot of the things that I'm saying to you. And so I know from experience how it feels to be disappointed or to strive or to be committed to something and maybe not come through for the way you wanted to, or to succeed and excel beyond what you thought you were going to measurably do. All of that is part of the journey, right? It's so funny today. I've had so many different people question and say, "Hey, what are you doing today? It's your birthday, da 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 da." And I think for a long time, as far as I can remember, I think that there's been this little part of me that struggled with. I would get excited knowing my birthday was coming, but then when it came down to people saying, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday?" and to me, it almost felt like too much pressure to answer that question in a sense, because there's an abundance of things, but at the same time, I think I'm one of those people. For me, I like to look at a person and look at the things that they're drawn to, alike, maybe what they wear or what they use or what they interact with more. And I like to thoughtfully get them things that I feel that they would appreciate or want. Not that they couldn't get it for themselves, but that somebody took the time long enough to pay attention to them and say, I think that they would like this. And it could be something so simplistic. It doesn't have to physically be a thing. It could be an experience. It could be some words. It could be thought-provoking actions that you take. But for me, I guess I've always had this little struggle. When people would ask me, Sonny, or what are you doing for your birthday? Or what are you doing? And this, and this. And sometimes it can build up to be a little overwhelming to yourself if you're putting a lot on yourself to reach or to establish some type of expectation of what that should look like. So today I'm relishing in my own ability to just relax and kind of go with the flow. Now, there are some things that I have in mind, but to say I'm defined today, I'm not. I knew that I was going to make this radio content today because I am now working towards giving you some really good insight week to week versus I was primarily posting Sonny's Monday Motivation once a month. I know that Monday comes around every week, and for most people, some people dread their Mondays. Some look forward to it, and some just it doesn't matter either way. So for anybody that's taking the time to chime in, and it doesn't mean that it's necessarily Monday when you hear the content, but I do appreciate that you are taking the time to listen. And trust me when I understand that it can be challenging and real for some people, which is why I did choose to make a Monday motivational segment on Loudmouth Radio. Um, so, guys, like I promised, I said I wanted to stay within my time frame. I do have some things today that I'm looking forward to completing. And I want to invite you to connect with me on Loudmouth Radio Network. Okay, we're available on all streaming platforms. So whatever platform that you're accustomed to listening to your podcast, look for us there at Loudmouth Radio, LOUDDMOUTH Radio Network. And you should be able to pull up our archives of our podcast 24/7 on demand. And this segment will be available for you shortly. So I just want to tell everyone thank you. I hope that wherever you are, that you're safe, healthy, and prosperous, and you're enjoying the rest of your day. I know as for me, that's exactly what I intend on doing for the rest of my day. Thank you, guys. Be blessed.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.